Have you ever been sitting there thinking, man, I wish they made an oversized night finder that had the capability of shooting both Mega and Elite darts with a toggle switch between the two and could shoot multiples of them before having to reload? Well, too bad, because Hasbro made it anyway with the Nerf Dual Strike. And that is exactly this entire blaster in a nutshell, although the internals are going to make a lot of you happy, so stay tuned if you're into that. But the Dual Strike, well, it's exactly what it is. It shoots both Elite and Mega darts through some smart AR systems up here. I'll kind of load those in, and notice how these darts fit in there nice and snug and almost all the way past the tip. I do appreciate that, Hasbro. I mean, it was already long enough. We don't have stupid half-inch darts sticking out the front that get ruined when it's holstered. Nope, they just all fit right in there. Good job, guys. But basically, it's a night finder that you can use this switch right here to dictate where the air is going to go if you want to fire Elites or you want to fire Megas. So we have it on the Mega button. We're going to hold this up and it fires a Mega dart. And then we're going to switch it to Elite, pull that back, and it's going to fire an Elite dart. How well does it fire them? Well, I've got a control here, which is we're going to use a triad. So this is obviously the triad everybody knows and loves. And we're just going to quickly compare the two against the cardboard here. And I know that's not the most scientific of claims, but let's do one. And then we'll do two. And the answer is, it's a little bit underpowered compared to the triad, just a little bit. I mean, it's almost, you almost can't tell the difference, but you can feel just how far back it hits the cardboard, that it's a little bit less powerful than the triad there. And same thing with like the Cyclone Shock. If let's pick up a Cyclone Shock here, which is roughly the same size. Primed, of course, this is going to be larger, but it is much thinner. Got a tactical rail up there for whatever attachment you feel is necessary. But yeah, not too much going on there. Thing of noting is that the Cyclone Shock is significantly heavier than this thing. This thing feels really, really light for what it is, which is going to be good for those of you who don't want to run things that are too heavy. It's very, very, very light. But we put a dart in the Cyclone Shock here. Rotate that. Prime that. Switch this down to Mega, prime that, stick this up, we'll shoot from back here. It's reasonably powerful, but yeah, clearly the Cyclone Shock's hitting a heck of a lot harder than the good old Dual Strike here, which is a bit of a shame. So, my overall opinion so far is that while it can do both, it does both a little less better than the dedicated blaster that can shoot those. So it can shoot Elite darts about as strong as a triad, a little bit under that, and it can shoot Megas probably about as good as a Big Shock. So not too bad for something that packs it all into one package and you can effortlessly switch between them. I don't know who this blaster is made for. I don't know if it's made for somebody crazy like me who runs around at Dart Wars and likes to pick up darts and use multiple kinds of darts. And if it was, it would have a rip shot down here that I could shove a disc into and prime. And it would have like an Apollo up here that I could use to shoot rival rounds, and maybe like a far shot on this side right here, so I could literally just have a pistol that shoots everything. But it doesn't. It just switches between Elites and Megas. But honestly, not too bad at both, but not too great at them either. A jack of all trades, master of none. The handle is very, very comfortable, except for this nub right here. That doesn't fit a human finger in there, and thus it just kind of grinds into my finger. It's not terrible, but it could be a little bit comfier. Other than that, it's very, very nice. But keep in mind, I have small hands. I'm not sure how other Nerfers are going to appreciate that. But there is one saving grace about this entire blaster that doesn't really matter how well it shoots right now. And that is, of course, since it's Nerf, it is moddable. Now, if you look at the side over here, it's going to be virtually impossible to see on camera, but there's vent holes all over this thing. And, well, that's going to be a running theme. We're going to take this thing apart, and I'll be back with you in just a bit. And what do you get inside? You get this Dr. Seuss looking contraption. First things first, you're going to want to remove your catch spring. because that thing has a tendency to pop right the hell out. Oh, come on, there we go. And the rail piece, of course. And, well, we've got a pretty ridiculously sized plunger tube here. Here's a Mega Dart for comparison. That's like long shot size. That's pretty interesting, but it's got some vent holes in it. Naughty Hasbro. And yes, the plunger does, in fact, go past those vent holes right there. So just launch the trigger somewhere. And we've got our standard Fire Strike catch right here, which is interesting. I've seen those broken before, so hopefully this is rather well reinforced. This thing, which is obviously telling which way the air is going to go, and then a vent hole in the middle of the tube telling the air where to go. And then vent holes all over the place. This thing has a lot of vent holes. A lot of them. A lot of things are going to need to be filled in, but we already kind of have that out, so let's just pull this out anyway. No vent holes on the plunger head, and while the plunger is kind of put on just like a Fire Strike, the spring is pretty long and wimpy. Honestly, it's not too good. I can compress this almost fully with my hand. I can't compress it fully with my hand. So, there's going to be a lot of room in there for improvement in both filling in these holes, filling in all these holes, and then replacing that spring. But the power you're going to be able to get out of this, as long as this thing doesn't poop itself when you do so, you're going to be able to get some pretty amazing power out of this. Guaranteed. As long as, I'm not sure how this thing's going to deal with higher ends of power. I haven't obviously done the mod, I'm just showing you it can be done. But as long as this thing holds together, you are golden. Because that is a ridiculously sized plunger tube. And hopefully we can get some really good performance out of this so we have something that can be used as a, kind of like a new night finder, if you will. Something with a big plunger tube that we can squeeze a lot of power out of. And then, of course, here's the trigger, which is like the laziest trigger I think I've seen Hasbro make yet. Literally just a piece of spring plastic, sets it in there and guides it on a rail. It even has a stop. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that's the entirety of the Dual Strike. If you like this, you probably already would have bought one. That being said, I don't think unless you plan on modding it, you should rush out and get one. Honestly, I usually love stuff like this, and all I see for this is a giant-ass impractical pistol. And maybe that's a bit unfair to it. Totally is, but I'm just not seeing myself... There we go. I'm just not seeing myself wanting to do much more besides mod it and hope I can get more power out of it. That's probably going to be the saving grace of this blaster, is that it's going to have a lot of power you're going to be able to squeeze out of it, as long as this white thing, again, doesn't just poop itself when you put more power into it. Kind of worried about that. But that's the end of the video here. We've taken a look inside and outside of the new Nerf Dual Strike. As far as I know, it's out of stock on Amazon right now, but expected to show up in stores and everything soon. And if you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment in the boxes below telling me. And even if you didn't like this video, please do the same thing anyway. Love talking to you guys, and hope to see you in the next one. Take care.